In its decade-long Martian voyage, NASA's Curiosity rover recently encountered a perplexing spectacle, a strange light on the horizon, and the Perseverance rover that is exploring the other side of Mars just spotted cat hair on its drill. These discoveries have puzzled experts, and as Curiosity prepares to navigate the challenging terrain of Dingo Gap, it is on the lookout for more striking phenomena. Join us as we explore the mystery surrounding the strange light the NASA rover Curiosity witnessed, navigating towards Gale Crater's center peak. Now, Curiosity is headed toward Gale Crater's center peak. Curiosity can navigate more easily because it can drive itself without assistance from Earth. This allows for speedier advancement, implying that Curiosity is already approaching a region known as Darwin. With this feat, the Curiosity rover became the first vehicle to drive autonomously on another planet. The location of the outcrop scientists wish to investigate is indicated by the light-toned streaks in the lower left center of the image. Curiosity examines the layers that comprise Mount Sharp's base from a different angle. This particular area is called Pahrump Hills, and it appears to be really interesting. The team intends to investigate this area shortly. Curiosity uses its Mars Hand Lens Imager, or MAHLI, to study the Darwin outcrop on Sol 400. This 4-image mosaic depicts a ridge that developed when an underlying sandstone fault was filled with a substance that eroded more slowly than the rock itself. Take note of MAHLI's special calibration target for scale, the Lincoln penny, at the bottom left. The rover fires its ChemCam laser on the Martian surface for the 100,000th time while examining this rock called Ithaca. The arrows indicate the dark areas left by the 10 separate laser shots. According to the analysis, Ithaca is a typical Martian volcanic rock type. As Curiosity approaches 3 miles of driving distance, the effects of Martian life start to show. The rover becomes momentarily stranded after more computer difficulties and a power outage. This is traced to a sporadic short in Curiosity's nuclear power plant, the RTG. Simultaneously, a more grave problem emerges. On Sol 469, a routine examination of the rover's wheels reveals very extensive damage. Jim Erickson, project manager for Curiosity, states that as the rover traveled, they always expected to acquire some holes in the wheels. What was surprising was simply the scope of what they were witnessing. Fearful, the crew tries to drive Curiosity over Sandier, more even ground by changing the planned course. Though it may take longer, the rover should be safer on the way to Mount Sharp. How long do you think it will take Curiosity to reach Mount Sharp? Challenging trek, crystal-adorned targets to Dingo Gap and beyond. Along the new route, Curiosity follows to Mount Sharp. It encounters Harrison, a target with light-colored, elongated crystals, most likely feldspar. The darker matrix material, as shown by ChemCam analysis, is pyroxene, a mineral commonly present in basaltic igneous rocks. However, Curiosity meets yet another challenge on Sol 526. The rerouted path to Mount Sharp requires passing across Dingo Gap, a sand dune. It will lead to more level ground, which ought to be gentler on the rover's worn wheels. However, the rover risks becoming permanently stranded, just like Spirit, its predecessor on Mars. As NASA's engineers prepare to cross the Dingo Gap, Curiosity looks up at the stars. The rover captures a Martian evening star shortly after sunset. Alternatively, it is referred to as Planet Earth. If you look very attentively, you can also see the moon itself. After this short break, Curiosity starts to traverse the Dingo Gap on Sol 535. This view from the rear hazard avoidance camera demonstrates that a little off-roading is no problem with a 6x6 drive. Then, the rover peers over the dangerous chasm in its tracks. To give you an idea of scale, the space between the parallel tracks is around 9 feet. Then, Curiosity moves quickly forward after crossing the gap, heading toward a region called Kimberley. The rover camera notices these sandstone beds on the way to Kimberley, angled down towards Mount Sharp from the rim of the Gale crater. According to the study, These layers are deposits from deltas that previously covered the crater's center and flowed down from the rim into a small lake. It's a recurring pattern all across the place. On Sol 589, Curiosity captures something that scientists find shocking. What do you think Curiosity has captured in its view? Unraveling the mystery of the Martian glow on Sol 589.
Take a look at this picture of Mars. That light on the right side of the photo is creating quite a stir online, with some speculating the possibility of life on the red planet.
In a surprising turn of events, scientists were left astounded as Curiosity captured a glowing light in the distance on Sol 589. The dazzling display has left the scientific community scratching, exploring potential explanations for this unexpected phenomenon. So, what is going on here? The possibilities range from a cosmic ray striking the camera to the simple yet captivating idea of sunlight glinting off a small pebble. However, unless Martians don tinfoil hats, the likelihood of this being our first encounter with extraterrestrial life seems slim. The most plausible hypothesis points to the camera being hit by a cosmic ray, high-energy particles traversing through space. According to NASA, galactic cosmic rays are particles that shoot into our solar system from other stars in the Milky Way or even other galaxies, accelerated to near the speed of light. This theory gains support because, simultaneously, another image captured with a different camera failed to register the same anomaly or, in simpler terms, remained unscathed by the cosmic ray. Such peculiar flashes of light, even observed by astronauts working in space, are commonly attributed to cosmic ray strikes. When a cosmic ray penetrates the retina, the eye's rods and cones are triggered, resulting in a perceived flash of light that doesn't exist. While we're fortunate to be shielded from cosmic rays by our robust magnetosphere on Earth, Mars presents a different scenario with its weaker magnetic field. Due to cosmic ray hits, future Martian settlers might have to accept and deal with these enigmatic pseudo-lights. Adding to this, Perseverance on the other side of Mars had recently spotted something unusual during its routine checkup. The captured image showed 2 pieces of debris and a cat hair-like fiber on its drill. The NASA team is also investigating the objects and has taken several photos from different angles following the drilling movement assurance and the working condition test. The debris may be a tiny fragment resulting from the crash we have observed here. The rover continues to investigate due to the abundance of wonderful science discovered in the Kimberley region. The image captured on Sol 590 displays the same accumulation of prehistoric silt around the foot of Mount Sharp, with the mountain visible to the left of the image. Also, a little hill can be seen in the mid-ground. The crew calls this location Mount Remarkable because of how clearly visible the many granite layers are. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter successfully captured Curiosity on Sol 597 while it was passing overhead and close to the Kimberley site. Can you find the rover? On Sol 609, Curiosity arrives at Winjana, a rock slab named by scientists. The 2-foot-wide rock is a great fit for Curiosity's drill. As this before and after photo shows, the dust removal tool is used to scrub a section of the rock about 6 centimeters across. Next, a full-size test hole and test drilling are conducted to a depth of about 2 centimeters. Curiosity's ChemCam laser produced the sequence of visible dark spots inside the hole. Several of Curiosity's onboard science instruments investigate the samples collected. After analysis by scientists back on Earth, the data suggests that flowing water was probably previously common in the region. Satisfied with its efforts in the Kimberley area, Curiosity takes a selfie. While observing the sun on Sol 648, Curiosity notices something unusual, an object that crosses its field of view. It's the first time a planetary transit has been seen on a planet other than Earth, and this object is actually the planet Mercury. As the map indicates, by Sol 705, the rover is well on its way to the Pahrump Hills at the bottom left. The rover will pass through a valley called Hidden Valley on the new path created to make the trip easier for Curiosity on wheels. This new soft sanded path, however, is not without its drawback. The rover's wheels appear to be slipping on the ground after traveling just a short distance into the valley, and the team begins to fear that it might become stranded. Rover planners instruct Curiosity to return to more solid terrain after determining that it is too dangerous to continue. Curiosity would have to look for another route to continue its mission. Curiosity, crafted by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and overseen by the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California, operates under the mission leadership of JPL on behalf of NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington. The rover pursues 4 primary science goals as part of NASA's Mars exploration program: determining the potential for life on Mars, characterizing the Martian climate and geology, and preparing for future human exploration. These objectives are interconnected. For example, understanding Mars's current climate contributes to evaluating its safety for human exploration. By examining the Martian geology, scientists can assess whether Curiosity's landing site was once habitable. NASA has streamlined these goals into 8 specific objectives, covering disciplines from biology to geology to planetary dynamics, to facilitate the achievement of these ambitious targets. Curiosity's central mission is to ascertain the possibility of past or present life on Mars. While the rover isn't explicitly designed to search for life, it houses various instruments for collecting data about its environment, contributing valuable insights to the broader exploration of the red planet. Unraveling Mars mysteries on wheel. Curiosity is a scientific lab on wheels. This rover is like a compact SUV cruising through Mars, standing at around 7 feet tall and measuring 9 feet 10 inches long by 9 feet 1 inch wide. Weighing in at 2,000 pounds, this rover sports wheels with a diameter of 20 inches, allowing it to conquer obstacles up to 25 inches high and cover about 660 feet each day. Curiosity is also powered by a multi-mission radioisotope thermoelectric generator, tapping into the heat produced by the decay of plutonium-238. Together, scientists and engineers are able to drive Curiosity across the floor of Gale Crater and up Mount Sharp, using images from navigation cameras strategically placed around the rover and images from orbiting satellites like NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. Curiosity stops for weeks or months at a time to gather data and drill at scientifically interesting spots. The rover has a few tools to search for habitability. Using a drill and scoop, the robotic arm of the rover gathers soil and rock samples, which it subsequently deposits into its belly for examination. Sample analysis at Mars, or SAM for short, determines which carbon-containing molecules and other elements required for life are retained in the rocks. The Chemical and Mineralogy Instrument, or CHI-MIN, examines the different kinds of minerals found in rocks to determine the degree of environmental suitability for life that existed when the rocks were first deposited as sediments. Curiosity has several cameras to let scientists investigate rocks for clues, such as whether they formed in still or flowing water, in addition to the cameras that assist rover operators in planning drives. While 2 cameras on the rover's mast, collectively known as MastCam, record multicolored images that can be stitched together to create broad panoramas, a camera on the robotic arm, Mahli, is akin to a magnifying glass a geologist would carry into the field. Spider-like object. Recently, after 18 months in its mission on Mars, the Perseverance rover just spotted a spider-like object that is approximately as long as a person's hand and has elongated slim pins. However, scientists are still determining the object, although they say no one has ever seen such a thing on Mars. It might be a sand-blasted rock or just a piece of debris from the probe. Nevertheless, others have pointed out that it may not just be another comet or meteorite, but instead, proof of life on Mars. Although improbable, this has terrified the scientific world. It would have undoubtedly been one of the biggest finds in any species' history, if that were true. On July 12, 2023, the object was first seen in images taken by the Perseverance rover. The object is seen to be resting on the Martian surface next to small rocks and grains, and its dark color makes it noticeable as it is in direct contrast to the reddish-brown Martian soil. This object has caused scientists long nights trying to figure out what it is. Scientists cannot identify this object, but they are certain that it is not debris from the rover because it cannot produce an object of that size and shape. Some scientists think this object may have been a weathered-out, wind-eroded rock formation. For example, if one looks keenly at this rock, one might conclude that winds shaped it into a spider-like shape over a long period of years. On the other hand, some scientists also argue that this object might be much larger and more exciting than Mars's fossils. This remote possibility has created tremors in the scientific world. This would be probably the greatest discovery ever made by humans, if proven. Yes, it is fascinating how much we are discovering on the red planet, not just this spider-like object that has been spotted by the Perseverance rover in the past 18 months. Let's do a quick go-through of things found on Mars. The spider-like object is just one of the many mysterious things the Perseverance rover has found in the past 3 months, since it landed on Mars 18 months ago. It tested its first delta rock found in Mars' Jezero crater, and seems to collect what looks like feline hair. The rover has been traveling across Carey Gap with great success for over 1 month. Each time, it advances about 400 meters within 1 week. With its autonomous software, the rover chose and examined 2 rock targets. NASA plans to use this program increasingly in future missions, frequently making sure the rover doesn't miss anything interesting on its path for more than 4 months. Perseverance has had an unexpected traveling companion, a stone stuck in its left front wheel, traveling more than 5.3 miles or 8.5 kilometers. The rover has experienced problems with this route too. Perseverance's buddy seemed to break a record for hitchhiking on Mars at 451, with the rover gazing upward toward Delta's highest point. At Sol 452, Perseverance uses its rock abrasion tool to scrape the exterior of a rock, and then the rover uses its gaseous dust removal tool, which is simply a can of compressed nitrogen, to create 4 puffs to clean dust and clippings. After examining the tool for damage, the crew instructs the rover to photograph the small hole, as the Mars climate can potentially modify the surface layer of rocks over time. The rock abrasion tools help make sure that geologists have a clear picture. The presence of hematite is also indicated by the finely grained texture and reddish colors, with the help of the dust cleaning instrument, where a ring of dust surrounds the target embedded into the surface. The rock sank a little due to abrasion, showing that it cannot be used in drilling. This is quite unfortunate. The windy day for one of the rover's data is captured in this stunning animation, as scientists on Earth review mission data from Sol 148 to produce it. Journey through the Delta. It is reported that the rover encounters at least 4 dust devils daily, mostly related to Martian noon. This is great as far as Ingenuity, our small chopper friend, is concerned, since the winds will clear any silt that may have clogged up their solar cells, preventing more freakouts due to low power levels. This is the 29th helicopter flight. The goal for the day with Perseverance and Ingenuity is for both machines to proceed down a smooth channel to reach the upper portion of the Delta, with Perseverance now at a very good spot on the front of the Delta. Perseverance rover is getting closer, taking some awesome pictures of the most fascinating places by far. These rocks look strange, as we have been recording Mars rovers for over a decade, and we've never witnessed similar rocks, as should be expected from another world. Think of these holes in this rock. Did the wind from Mars wear them down, or did water play a role in this process? It is not until later, when we transport our samples in the 466 mountain range, that we know for sure. Until then, the rover cameras, a rare rock formation that resembles a snake's head. Online speculators ask whether an exiled Martian snake civilization created it. A close-up view of a flower is not the most interesting part of this photo. It looks like a huge rock seems to be holding it up. In such a case, it should be highly uncertain whether it was blown there by a Martian wind. Was this procedure using water, or was it something else? It might have been an accurate asteroid, or it could have been planted there by alien snake people. One cannot tell whether it's a balanced rock or a mere extrusion of the rock behind the rock. The crew has now turned towards the bright stuff spotted by Perseverance on Sol 411 as the public becomes aware of exploration interest in the delta. Sol 464 is seen in this view as shimmering aluminium foil. The team concludes that it is probably a piece of multi-layer insulation from the sky crane, which departed from the landing site after landing near Perseverance. Though the sky crane landed 2 kilometers away in the southeast of this site, clouds might have carried this material and then fallen in this place too. The impact caused by this picture shows the column of smoke resulting from it. In theory, those forces could have forced the material into the air and been picked up by the wind. In contrast, NASA argues that the debris got stuck in the wind that set near the crash. These 2 pictures show that this fragment moves because the wind on Sol 472 destroys 1 more stone on the Mars rover. However, it cracked and anticipated further attempts at drilling fine-grained material, thereby becoming unusable for drilling purposes. The team then shows Perseverance in selecting the next rock targets. It has presently beaten the highest resolution image captured by the rover with about 500 million pixels. Notably, the delta front that aims to take core samples at Sol 474 stands out. The crew discovers something. The first shot shows them pointing the rover at the same place, perhaps the other debris like a rope or wind-blown object. A millimeter-sized mesh pattern, 2 by 2, indicates that an article was indeed spacecraft debris and a piece of Dacron netting. It seems this area could be commonplace for discarded litter blown by wind. This debris does not bother the NASA crew at all. Such findings suggest that scientists need to consider the possible dangers of future landings, potentially jeopardizing the sample's integrity or the rover itself. At Sol 477, the rover discovers a rock called Betty's Rock. Such a rock could have provided a great core sample with the layers depicting a story of the ancient history surrounding the location. However, the unevenly laid layers coupled with such an odd shape would not allow the rover to visit it safely. While the close-up shots required for Perseverance cost a fortune, it delivers a good message. This will require it to maintain its efforts until it can secure its first sample of the delta core. After some time, the crew detects a proper site for using the rover's drill. Skinner's Rock, also referred to as Skinner's Ridge, is an area that will enable Perseverance to sample its initial sample for delta core. This is the longest run during a mission with a core of approximately 6.7 centimeters. The normal checkup of the rover's drill reveals something unexpected. There seems to be something bizarre there that resembles a cat's hair. In the images are 2 small pieces of debris, one on the drilling carousel's coring bit, and then a small hairline object in the chunk. To this end, the NASA team is seeking a solution by taking several photos from different angles following the drilling movement assurance and the working condition test. It may be a tiny fragment of debris resulting from the crash that we have observed here. The rover is currently located at Wildcat Ridge, and it plans to take another sample from Skinner Ridge, which is the initial one. Fortunately, there is still nothing amiss with it. One can easily see the Delta rover. Also, according to the latest news from NASA, it has chosen to dispatch the rover to Enchanted Lake. What makes the Enchanted Lake special? NASA has shown pictures of the Enchanted Lake on Mars, and scientists think it could be a place where the Perseverance rover might find signs of extraterrestrial life. The Enchanted Lake is a rocky area near the base of the Jezero crater's delta, and it got its name from a place in an Alaskan national park. The rover's cameras took the images on April 30th, 2022. These pictures give scientists a close look at sedimentary rocks, which form when tiny particles in the air or water settle in layers over time and turn into rocks. Even though it's called Enchanted Lake, it's as dry as a desert, just like the rest of Mars. Scientists think there might have been water here in the past, which could have supported life during that time. One of the main goals of the Perseverance rover is to look for signs of ancient microbial life. It will also study the planet's geology and past climate, preparing for future human exploration. This mission will first collect and store Martian rocks and soil. The extreme conditions on Mars usually don't preserve fossilized microscopic life in the igneous rocks that cover most of the Jezero crater's floor. That's why sedimentary rocks are crucial. They provide an ideal place to search for signs of past life. Thank you for watching another episode. Click on the subscribe button below for more mind-blowing videos like this one. And while you are still here, check out the video on your screen. See you there.